My son Oliver, now a towering 18-year-old, carried himself with such grace that I couldn't help but feel proud when he suggested renting a trailer for a week-long woodland retreat. I was taken aback. His proposition came with that familiar, mischievous smile reminiscent of his childhood days, when he'd try to charm his way out of sticky situations. The promise was simple, just the two of us, snow-covered paths, the warmth of a crackling fire, and pure tranquility. I couldn't resist. After the hectic holiday season, the prospect of a peaceful mountain getaway seemed like exactly what we needed. We packed light, only the essentials. Warm clothing, some board games, and a few novels for the quiet evenings. Oliver took charge of most arrangements. He handled the trailer rental, mapped out our journey, and even crafted a special playlist for our adventure. The journey was lengthy, but the scenery was breathtaking. Frost-covered trees lined our route, creating scenes worthy of a picture-perfect postcard. Upon reaching the secluded trailer park, nestled in a snow-blanketed valley, an overwhelming sense of serenity washed over me. The setting was simply magnificent. We found ourselves surrounded by nothing but mountains and the gentle crackle of our fire. As time passed, our relationship deepened in unexpected ways. Our mornings were spent exploring the serene forest trails. Lunchtimes were accompanied by steaming mugs of cocoa, and evenings brought genuine conversations around the campfire. Topics that might have seemed mundane at home flowed naturally here. He opened up about his aspirations, his worries, and shared previously untold chapters of his life. My perception of him evolved not just as the child I'd raised, but as the mature individual he was becoming. His quiet confidence and inner strength impressed me. I realized how seldom I'd leaned on him since his father and I separated. One evening, after an exhausting hike, we returned to our trailer with wind-chilled faces. Oliver took charge of dinner preparation, whipping up a simple yet delicious pasta dish. As we dined under the soft glow of our electric lantern, I noticed how naturally he commanded the space around him. I found myself using a long-forgotten childhood nickname. Thanks for this, Ollie. It was a brilliant idea. A moment of electric connection passed between us as his blue eyes met mine. "Mom," he said softly, "it's wonderful to just be here with you." Life bas desordre seems to have made us forget how to truly connect. His words resonated deeply. He was right. Between academic commitments, work responsibilities, and daily routines, genuine moments of connection had become increasingly rare. The fire crackled outside in the darkness, accompanied by the wind's haunting melody. Yet inside, we remained peacefully quiet. While Oliver immersed himself in his book, I gazed through the window, mesmerized by snowflakes drifting gently earthward. A wave of gratitude washed over me for the remarkable young man beside me and for all his thoughtful planning that made this retreat possible. This newfound side of him, previously hidden from view, spoke volumes about his commitment to nurturing our bond. The mountains held an inexplicable enchantment that transformed every instant into something cinematically beautiful. Oliver seemed determined to craft a week filled with unforgettable moments. Following our heartfelt conversation, I awakened to the inviting aroma of freshly brewed coffee. As my eyes fluttered open, there stood Oliver in the doorway of our cozy sleeping area, holding a steaming mug and wearing that warm, familiar smile. "Rise and shine, sleepyhead, yay," he teased. "I figured you deserved breakfast in bed after being such a champion hiker." I chuckled, adjusting the plush blanket around me. "Oh, so I'm suddenly your favorite hiking companion. I distinctly remember your dramatic groaning throughout yesterday's final mile." He laughed while passing me the mug. "That was purely strategic, keeping our spirits up and making you smile. See how selfless I can be. The coffee was perfect, exactly how I preferred it, filling me with appreciation." Snow continued falling outside, while inside our trailer, silence reigned so completely, it felt as though we existed in our own private universe. Meeting his gaze, I whispered, "Thank you. This is really special." He shrugged casually, maintaining eye contact. "Mom, you deserve every bit of it. You're always taking care of others. It's time someone took care of you." His words lingered in my thoughts as we savored the morning's warmth within our shelter. Later, Oliver proposed exploring another nearby trail. We bundled up against the winter chill and ventured out. The only sound disturbing the forest's tranquility was the crisp crunch of our boots against snow. The hike proved delightful, punctuated by comfortable silences and his playful banter. When I joked about being so bundled up I could barely move, he quipped that the frost decorating my hat made me look like a character from a survival documentary. I playfully swatted him with my glove, his laughter echoing through the woods. However, as dusk approached, our day took an unexpected turn. While navigating back to the trailer across a particularly treacherous icy patch, my foot suddenly lost traction, sending me crashing onto my side. Searing pain shot through my leg. "Mom!" Oliver rushed to my aid, helping me into a sitting position, his touch both steady and gentle. "Are you all right?" he asked, concern evident in his tone. "Where does it hurt?" "My leg." I grimaced, attempting to shift it slightly, but was met with a sharp, persistent pain. I think I twisted it. Without hesitation, he scooped me up effortlessly in his arms. Just like that. "Don't even think about trying to walk on it," he instructed firmly. "Oliver." "I'm okay," I protested weakly. He interrupted me, his voice gentle but resolute. "No arguments. You're clearly not fine, and I won't let you make it worse," he added with a playful smirk. "Besides, all those workouts were meant for moments exactly like this." Despite the pain, I couldn't help but laugh at his jest. Cradled against him, protected from the biting cold, I experienced a sense of security I hadn't felt in years. Once we reached the trailer, Oliver carefully settled me onto the small sofa. He positioned my leg on a pillow and applied an ice pack. Kneeling beside me, he said, "We'll head home tomorrow, but tonight you're staying put. Just tell me if you need anything." Though exhaustion crept in as the evening progressed, the throbbing in my leg kept sleep at bay. During the night, I awoke shivering violently. Despite the trailer's warmth, my head pounded, and I made an unsettling realization. I was running a fever. "Oliver," I called out, my voice barely above a whisper. He appeared instantly at my side, his features etched with worry. "Mom, what's wrong?" he asked, pressing his palm against my forehead. "You're burning up and shaking." "Hold on." Before I could protest, he slipped into bed beside me, enveloping me in his arms and pulling the blanket snugly around us both. "You need to get warm," he murmured, his voice soothing and reassuring. I rested my head against his chest, finding comfort in his steady heartbeat. His body heat gradually chased away my chills, while his hand traced gentle calming circles on my back. "Thank you," I mumbled sleepily. "Always," he replied softly, pressing a tender kiss to my hair that unmistakably conveyed his love. "I'll always take care of you." In that midnight moment, wrapped in his protective warmth, I felt an unexpected closeness to him. Our relationship had evolved in ways that defied simple explanation. For the first time in years, I surrendered completely to being cared for, accepting that I wasn't facing this alone. As sleep claimed me, I reflected on how profoundly this trip had transformed my perspective, not just about Oliver, but about the unique bond we shared. The next morning, I awakened to enticing aromas wafting through the trailer. Despite my aching legs, the cozy warmth of the blankets and the inviting smell made the discomfort more bearable. Carefully, I attempted to sit up, wincing at the movement. In the small kitchen area, Oliver stood with his back turned, softly humming while preparing breakfast. "Morning," I called out, my voice still slightly raspy. He spun around, his face lighting up with a radiant smile. "Well, look who's finally awake. Breakfast is nearly done. How are you feeling today?" The soreness persisted but had improved since the previous night. He acknowledged my response with a nod, though concern still creased his brow. "I've made eggs and toast. I'll bring it to you, but afterward we're getting you to the hospital." His protective demeanor touched me deeply. "That sounds absolutely dreadful," I responded with a gentle chuckle. True to his word, he brought me a plate and insisted on helping with everything. His attentiveness warmed my heart, especially as he steadied the plate while I ate. Watching him clean up afterward, I felt overwhelmed by a love that defied description. When he turned to face me, I met his gaze and said, "Thank you." "For what?" he asked, his smile softening. "For being you, for taking such wonderful care of me." He held my gaze for a long moment before nodding silently. A slight flush colored his cheeks. Always Mom. The descent from the mountain was smooth, with the snow-draped landscape remaining as breathtaking as ever. Oliver kept glancing at me, monitoring my comfort, occasionally brushing my hand while adjusting the heater. He even skipped certain songs on the playlist he thought might disturb me. By the time we reached the hospital, exhaustion had settled in. Oliver assisted me out of the car and held my hand as we made our way inside. Throughout the medical examination, his hand remained reassuringly on my shoulder. Just a severe strain, the friendly doctor explained, while fitting a compression brace on my leg. Take it easy for a few days, and you'll recover nicely. I couldn't suppress a laugh at Oliver's obvious relief. You seem more pleased about this than I am, I teased him. Well, someone has to worry about you, he replied, with a playful smirk dancing across his face. When we finally arrived home, a wave of comfort washed over me as I stepped into the familiar surroundings. Oliver immediately sprang into action, bringing me blankets, a steaming cup of tea, and the TV remote, before I could even settle properly on the couch. You don't have to do all this, I protested gently. He peeked his head around the corner from the kitchen, his expression warm and determined. You deserve to be pampered, he insisted softly. Let me take care of you for once. And true to his word, he did exactly that. Over the next few days, he wouldn't let me lift a finger. He handled all the household chores, prepared delicious meals, and even joined me during my favorite TV shows. It had been so long since I'd experienced such devoted care, and I hadn't realized how much I'd missed it. Everything shifted dramatically a few evenings later. We were relaxing on the couch, the television casting gentle shadows across the room. Oliver sat beside me, his arm draped casually along the back of the couch. My injured leg rested elevated on a cushion. There's a special kind of comfortable silence that exists between two people who are completely at ease with each other. Suddenly he broke the quiet. Mom. He began, his tone uncharacteristically serious. There's something I need to tell you. The gravity in his voice made my heart flutter anxiously as I turned to face him. What is it, Claire? I asked, concern growing in my voice. He paused thoughtfully, glancing down at his hands before meeting my gaze. I've been thinking about us lately, he started, about how different everything feels now. My breath caught in my throat, my heart racing. Different how? I managed to ask, my voice barely steady. He leaned in slightly, his expression open and vulnerable. I care about you so deeply, he confessed, more than just as my mother. I know I probably shouldn't say this, but I love you, not just as family, but as someone I admire, respect. His voice grew softer, someone I want to share all my moments with. The air between us grew thick with tension following his heartfelt confession. My chest ached as I processed the depth of his feelings and the courage it must have taken to express them. Oliver, I began, my voice trembling. The words failed me. I struggled to articulate a response to make sense of the intense emotions his words had stirred within me. He had been there providing warmth and care consistently over the past few days. Deep down, I knew I felt something too. Something stirred inside me, an emotion I hadn't allowed myself to acknowledge. It's all right, he interjected quickly. He raised his hand in a gentle gesture of silence, wearing a slight, almost shy smile. You don't need to explain anything. I just couldn't keep it inside anymore. Tears welled up in the corners of my eyes as I reached for his hand, grasping it tenderly. Through the thickness in my throat, I managed to tell him, Oliver, you mean everything to me, more than words could ever express. What we share is special, and I cherish it deeply. He squeezed my hand tighter, his eyes searching mine for something I wasn't certain I could offer. But in that precise moment, one truth became crystal clear. Whatever path lay ahead, we would walk it together. His words left me breathless, lingering in my thoughts like delicate snowflakes, unexpected, exquisite, and profoundly moving. His sincere blue eyes remained locked with mine, filled with a gentle hope that simultaneously soothed and unsettled me. Without hesitation, I pulled him into an embrace, wrapping my arms around him firmly, as if releasing him might shatter this delicate moment we shared. His embrace was strong and grounding, his warmth enveloping me completely. For a brief moment, nothing else mattered. Not the complications, not the uncertainties, just us. Oliver. You mean everything to me too, I whispered, my voice trembling with emotion. I need you to know that. In response, he tightened his embrace, drawing me closer. I was terrified to tell you, he murmured against my shoulder, but I couldn't contain it any longer. I slowly pulled back to look at him, running my fingers through his hair, a gesture I'd made countless times throughout his childhood. Yet now it carried a different weight, filled with deeper tenderness. You're braver than I've ever been, I told him softly. I'm here for you always. As our eyes met, a small but genuine smile graced his features. His sincerity filled me with warmth. We remained in our embrace for several more moments, finding comfort in each other's arms. Then I shifted slightly, wincing as pain shot through my injured leg. Let me help, he said quickly. His protective instincts resurfaced as he carefully assisted me back onto the couch. With gentle precision, he adjusted the pillow beneath my leg and unexpectedly began massaging it softly. His touch was gentle and soothing. Does this hurt? He asked carefully, working around the tape, avoiding the swollen area. No, I replied, with a slight shake of my head. It felt wonderful, actually. His touch was tender and affectionate, making me feel cherished beyond just physical comfort. The way he attended to my injury wasn't merely therapeutic. His gaze suggested that caring for me was his utmost priority in the world. The emotion welling up in my chest intensified, compelling me to reach out and caress his cheek. You've been incredibly kind to me, Oliver, I whispered softly. I can hardly believe how fortunate I am. His hands paused momentarily as he lifted his eyes to meet mine, his expression unreadable yet intense. It's not about fortune, he responded quietly. This is how it's always been meant to be. An unspoken understanding hung between us, something too profound to articulate, rather than trying to define it. I simply basked in his warmth and the rhythmic motion of his hands on my leg, finding an unusual sense of tranquility in the moment. Would you like me to stay here tonight? He ventured. After a considerable silence, his voice carrying a hint of uncertainty, as though apprehensive about my response, I nodded without hesitation. I'd like that very much. His smile was subtle and bashful. The room gradually darkened as he adjusted the blankets around me and switched off the television. Only the bedside lamp remained lit, casting a soft glow across the room. Oliver settled beside me, slipping his hand beneath the blanket to find mine. I nestled closer, resting my head against his shoulder. The silence stretched on, comfortable and meaningful. Emotions too deep for words filled the space between us. I allowed my eyes to close, surrendering to the peaceful moment. His steady breathing beside me provided immense comfort. The following days brought subtle yet unmistakable changes to our relationship. Nothing dramatic or sudden occurred. Instead, it manifested in small everyday moments we shared. His touch lingered longer when helping me to the kitchen, and his gaze held a warmth that transcended maternal affection. Our evenings increasingly involved sharing the couch, growing closer in a way that felt simultaneously natural and extraordinary. Though we never directly addressed it, an unspoken connection strengthened between us with each passing day. During one particularly peaceful evening together, Oliver surprised me by gently resting his head against mine. Do you ever wonder what it would be like if we were the only people in the world? He murmured. His voice barely above a whisper. When I turned to face him, the vulnerability etched across his features made my pulse quicken. What do you mean? I asked gently. His uncertainty was evident as his fingers fidgeted with the blanket's hem, searching for words. Just us caring for each other. No other obligations. No other concerns. His words stirred a complex mixture of emotions within me, too intricate to immediately process. That sounds rather peaceful, I responded softly. Oliver, life isn't quite that simple. You understand that? I do, he acknowledged with a slight nod, his gaze unwavering. But I still wish it could be. Finding the right response felt challenging, so I intertwined my fingers with his and declared firmly, "Whatever comes our way, we'll navigate it together." Something profound stirred within me as his eyes met mine, an emotion I couldn't quite define. His voice dropped to a whisper as he confessed, "I don't think I've ever experienced love quite like what I feel for you." The words carried the weight of a confession rather than a mere declaration. As my heart swelled with emotion, I pulled him into an embrace, holding him tightly, as if the delicate moment might shatter if I loosened my grip. He enveloped me in his arms with equal intensity, seemingly sharing my fear of the moment slipping away. "I love you too," I whispered back. Those words carried a significance I hadn't fully grasped until that precise moment. More than just an expression of love, they represented a solemn promise.